I feel like I've been existing on the cusp of burnout. I've noticed this trend in my reading and in my life lately where I have a month of creativity, of inspiration, of 5-star reads. I'm loving what I'm reading. And then after that month, it goes downhill for a month or two. I feel like the next month I'm feeling like kind of mid about it. And then the third month after that, I'm saddened by the fact that I'm not reading 5 stars. And then I'm kind of fighting burnout. I'm not as creative. I've definitely been on a bit of a roller coaster this year. So I've decided I need a mood reading vlog because I have nothing else to give. And I just want to enjoy reading again. I just want to not have to think about anything else. And it's all internal pressure, I get that, but sometimes like creative vlogs and stuff, I love them. They fill my cup. And so when I notice they aren't filling my cup, something like this is needed. And I feel like I'm at that point currently. I just need like a week breather. So we're mood reading. The theme might come. There's no theme now, but sometimes I feel like when I do these vlogs, a theme ends up coming and then I like pretend like I had the theme the whole time. If we're being real with you, there's no theme right now. There may be a theme at the end of it. Yesterday, I ended up picking up When the Wolf Comes Home, thinking Nat Cassidy is a previous 5-star author. I've loved all of his things that I've read. I've enjoyed him so much. This could help the slump that I kind of am in. I got 8 pages in, put it down. This seems to be happening a lot right now. This is how I know I'm slumping. I might come back to this. Decided to pick up another book. Picked up Realm of Thieves by Karina Halley. I got 25% in, which feels great for me that in one sitting I devoured that. I have picked up Karina Halley in the past and I didn't love it. I gave it 3 stars. I enjoyed it and I said I would love to read more from her because this was just so unique, and although it didn't end up working for me, there is a story by this author that I think will really work for me, so I'm hoping that Realm of Thieves is that for me, because when I read the synopsis I was like, this is unique, which is very hard to do in today's romantasy aspect with like the dragon egg stealing, and I was like, okay, with her writing style, her tone, I feel like this could really work. At 25% in, I'm vibing hard. This one follows our main character whose parents were in the rebellion. They were like really important people in the rebellion, and in our first chapter we see the aftermath of her parents being caught and what that means for her. I feel like this first chapter did take me a lot to get into. I ended up reading it twice because I read it once and was like, I think that all went over my head and I was really nervous. I was scared I was gonna put it down like I have been doing lately, so I decided, okay, let's read it again. Second read, I feel like we got a lot of info dumping about the world and like what was happening in there, so my second read I really took that in and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And so we watch her as she's put into a convent that's like a punishment for these children where they have to take like a vow of silence and they're like kind of punished for the rest of their lives, and she vows to escape. We flash forward. She has escaped. She now lives in like a place of rebels and she steals dragon eggs for a living. There is a veil that some god put up at some point that keeps the dragons in this island, so humans can go about their business and not worry about the big scary dragons. There's prophecies about how this is going to end and the veil is going to come crashing down and who will be saved and all of that, but some brave few do go into this veil, to this island, because they can get in, dragons just can't get out, and steal dragon eggs, because if you eat a dragon egg, this is what I thought was so cool, that can give you powers and like enhance your abilities. I've never seen that done before. I've read so many dragon books and they're always this like rare special thing. I've never had a point where they were eating them, and I thought that was so interesting. What a unique take that feels like, how did we not get that before? And maybe we have, but I personally have not read it. And so like, I'm vibing. We've gotten a lot of world building, a lot of interest in that. I am a little hesitant because the reviews do say the romance happens very quickly, and I will say her previous book, I did feel that as well. So I'm a little hesitant about that. At this point, we've met her and the love interest, and I like them both. I do think that they could have a little bit more character to them, but I'm 25% in. I'm hoping we build on that. She has an animal companion. If you're doing my summer reading challenge, I may end up swapping this and putting in an animal companion. Not sure yet. And all this other stuff. I'm very excited. I'm happy that I'm loving this so far, and I hope I continue to love it. There is a really pretty special edition, I think from Owl Crate, that I would like to read this before then so that I can decide if I'm gonna have it. Also, I got my tarot box in. I'm participating in Tarot Readathon, and I decided I wanted a deck of tarot. Tarot Readathon happens in July. I will leave the announcement for it down below. I got the Cats Rule the Earth tarot card. Last year I just used a digital tarot, and I don't know, I've kind of been interested in a deck before. I'll have to like read through this. Ooh, this is really pretty just like in its box. I liked that these kind of match like the old style tarot card vibes. This is the back, and then let's just pick a card. This is like the design. There's like a 9 We have the Hanged Man card. I think the art on that one is really cool. I think the Death card is so cool. I love the art on these. I'm very excited to be pulling these all month in July and maybe learn a little bit more about tarot than I personally do know, but very excited to have my own deck. That's exciting. I actually really enjoyed Tarot Readathon a lot last year, so I'm very excited it's back, and I'm very excited to participate in it again. It was one of my favorite readathons that I participated in last year. I love how chill it is, but it's still competitive, and I'm competitive, but sometimes I want to be chill, and so I like that you can kind of go at your own pace. There's not a lot to worry about, and I just get to like pull cards. I'm always liking to gamify my reading, and I feel like pulling the card and having a prompt. If you don't know, essentially you pull a deck from the tarot card, and then whatever card you get, there's a prompt associated with it, and there's teams for each of the like types of cards. So like cups, I'm joining Team Swords to support obviously my girl Lexi, but I will leave Deja's announcement video link down below for you to check out. That's it. I'm gonna go read and do some stuff. Guess what? It's my birthday! I'm 28 today. 28 feels old. I think I felt this way for 27 too. I think it just feels like I would have been at a different place in my life when I turned 28. So I'm having problems with that. Not that I think I'm old. I think I'm very young. I'm a baby and I have so much life to experience still. But I think that sometimes around my birthday these times, I struggle with the fact that like this is not what I thought my life would look like. And I'm okay with that. I think I live a better life than I probably thought it was going to be. But that is something that crosses my brain on my birthday sometimes. I got the best present though this year. Phasmophobia, which is like the newest video game that I've been obsessed with. I'm on like 300 hours of playing it. I am so obsessed. Has a major update today. So I'm spending the entire day playing the game. Literally nothing else. I will not be reading. I have not really read that much in Realm of Thieves since the last update. Maybe just a couple chapters. But I made myself a giant raspberry lemonade. I'm loading up, booting up the game currently. And then I'm going to be playing until literally the end of my day. I might get cupcakes at some point because cupcakes are my favorite dessert. A red velvet cupcake or like a black forest cupcake is my demon of choice. Also, I haven't made a raspberry lemonade before. I've been making regular lemonades or like limeades pretty often, but we had raspberries in my fridge. So I muddled some up and then like strained it into my lemonade. Literally delicious. This is just like, the recipe is essentially, I put 2 lemons because I like it a little lemony, and a 1/4 cup of sugar into like a 32-ounce container, and then water and ice. And then I muddled a handful of raspberries. It does taste very raspberry. If I'm lazy, I'll just muddle fruit. Like when I make like alcoholic drinks, I'll just muddle them right in. But since I didn't want like the seeds of a raspberry, I put a handful of raspberries into like a cup, muddled them, added a little bit of water when I muddled, and then used like a strainer and just like strained them through, and then there's no seeds in it, and it's literally delicious. That's all. Those are my only updates. I was just here to say it's my birthday. It's the 24th, in case anyone is wondering, because it will not be my birthday when you see this video. My mother just texted me that this was outside. Oh. She got me cupcakes delivered for my birthday. Hello. We are outside today. I think you can probably hear the birds. They are going wild, but I decided that today all I wanted to do was read outside. I'm reading Realm of Thieves, and I fear the reviewers were correct. I'm 43% into this, and like, that romance comes out of nowhere. All of a sudden, they are just like, oh, he smells good. Like, he literally goes up and smells her at one point. It's really random. They've talked like twice, and he's just like, let me come over and just like on top of your head. It's so weird. I feel like we've gotten a lot about them just like being into each other and like wanting to have sex, but it feels really random. It feels like one-off comments. Not that they're like lusting over each other constantly. I feel like I would like that better. Like, I understand lust. Sometimes you walk in and you're like, that guy's hot. I want to jump on him. And then a relationship happens, and like as you're getting to know them, sometimes you're like, oh, I could really, yeah, he's hot. But I feel like the way it's done in this book just feels random. It feels like it's just being thrown in there, not that they're actually like that into each other. It's just like the author knows they have to be into each other. Like, they have no chemistry together. I actually think that her and his brother had more chemistry, and overall I feel like the characters are just falling a little flat for me. But I do really like the setup. I like that we are seeing these 2 characters. She has been taken prisoner. She's a thief and taken prisoner by this other guy, and we're seeing like the political part because he is a son to a ruler, like a house, like an important house in this. They're called houses. And we're seeing him struggle with his duty as I think he's technically the second son, and like what that means for his family, like what the first son is struggling with, what his sister's struggling with, how they're going to be married off probably, how he wants to make a difference, but he doesn't necessarily want to make a difference in the way he's being told to make a difference. I like that element. I think I like his POVs better than hers. And then I like the world building. I just think it's so unique, and I think that that's like a lot of fun to see something so different, the way that it feels a little bit more science heavy. I've always loved science in my fantasy books. Some of my favorites have a bit of a more science magic system. I'm talking like Along the Razor's Edge with like the ingestion magic, even Mistborn with also kind of ingestion magic, Ashes the Sun with some of like the science experiments that happen in that one. I think that this fits into that like concept of like taking out the yolk of the dragon egg to get like magic, and like we have one person who like separates the molecules in the egg that give you your magic. He's separated that from the rest of the egg so that it's like flavorless, because a dragon yolk is not good. I also like the different types of dragons. We have like dragons that are the size of a cat in this one, and so they're different than regular dragons. We have seen more of a traditional dragon as well, but like I like that they have like little places that they make their nests because there's a fire tornado and things like that. I think the world building is so unique, and that's really exciting to me. There's a fly, probably because I have some goods. We are gonna crack my Arizona. I'm addicted to these. I just think they're so good for my little reading sesh. And then I have some Miss Vicky's original chips, because I also have some hell of a good dip that we are gonna do some dipping in. This is elite in my opinion, the sour cream and onion dip. So good. And then these are just like crispy. Like I feel like they're so crunchy. They're my chip of choice when it comes to dipping. I actually just love Miss Vicky's chips in general. They smell good. They're just like so crispy, and who doesn't want a crispy chip? I also have water, but that's kind of lame, right? I had to put a t-shirt on. I got so hot. I'm still reading outside. It's just like really hot. So I came to update you guys inside. I'm 60% through the book, so I'm not going to DNF, but I could DNF this. I don't know if you'll get another update from me because I feel like I don't have a lot more thoughts. One, I think that books these days, or books sometimes, I guess, not just these days in general. One, I think that it's struggling with the passage of time. I've noticed this in a lot of the romance that I don't like, that this is something I can pinpoint that bothers me. They're going dragon egg hunting, and this is the first dragon egg hunting we've seen since the initial dragon egg hunting. And they say a month has passed, and I was like, oh, I thought it was like 3 days later. I wish I had gotten that passage of time a little bit earlier too, because before then I was confused. I was like, how have their feelings escalated so much? How does it feel like they're so into each other all of a sudden? It's because they've spent so much time together, but I didn't get to see that time, and I didn't even feel like that time passed. I think that that's something I really struggle with. I want to see a romance happen on paper, and so I need to see that passage of time when it's just like told to me, and I don't like feel it innately. Like I don't feel like we've been here for 3 months. We've been working every day. We've been laughing every day. We've been like training every day. Like I feel like the relationship can fall so flat for me because it feels like they just knew each other. Like I'm reading this and I'm like, why do you have these feelings? We've spent 2 days together. Because I've spent 2 days with you as I'm reading. But in reality, for the author, these characters have lived and breathed the same air for like 3 months straight, and so like that's why they have this more deep connection, but the connection feels so surface level to me because I didn't see it, and it's like a loop and a circle. So I think that this book is really struggling with that, like really making the reader understand the passage of time. I feel like that would be very hard as an author to do, and I think that's something I'm struggling with in this one. I think I might have struggled with it in the last Karina Halley I read as well. I remember feeling like that relationship was a little surface level and a little too quick. That book, what carried it for me was the uniqueness and the world building and just like how different it felt to everything else I've been reading, and I can say the same thing about this one. Although I like her writing style and I like that world building, the characters just seem to fall a little flat, specifically like the depth to them. So I could DNF. Like I think I could DNF this and not know how it ends and be happy. However, I'm enjoying it enough that I think I want to continue and know how it ends, especially because it's reading pretty quickly to me considering how distracted I currently am while reading. So those are my thoughts. I don't know. I don't have anything else other than that. I feel like I don't have really like in-depth thoughts about this this at all. I'm hoping I will finish it today and then I can move on to something else. I don't know what's next. Another new release, probably. I think I want to read some anticipated reads of mine in this. I think that that's where this is going towards. I told you the theme would come to me and see, like, if this is worth it, if you should spend your money on these books. Kind of wish that I had DNF'd this one. Oh, God. I don't know, actually. I shouldn't say that because I also would be willing to read the next book. I just think I had some pretty big complaints about this one. It lost me. We get some reveals in this that I just don't think enough time was spent on setting those reveals up. It makes the world building kind of feel cringe and tacky. Feels absolutely insane to say, but like cringe and tacky because we didn't set them up well enough. And I think if they had been set up well enough, that could have been like so cool. But this is a series of interconnected standalones, which I did not know going into it. I thought this was about to be a series that was going to be epic in scope, and so I was really immersed in it. I think because it's a standalone, we're gonna follow a new character, a new romance in the next one. We definitely see some struggle there because not enough time was spent on the world building to give it the epicness that it feels like it was trying to have, because we had to get a whole romance into this book. We had to get their beginning, their middle, and their end into one book, versus when you do a fantasy series and you want the world to be epic, you do it over a couple books, 3 books, 2 books, 4 books, 5 books, 6 books, however many. You have time to build the character relationship. The start is book 1, the middle is book 2, the end is book 3. And so you have time to also spend developing the world building and the side characters and the cultures and things like that. And I feel like this book could have really shined if it had done that, because the world building is something I've never seen before. I read the author's note and she talks about how she thought dragons were kind of lame growing up, and she was, why is that always down? I always struggle with this thingy sliding down. Okay, it's fixed. But she talks about how she was a dinosaur girl. She loved Jurassic Park. And I too am a dinosaur girl. I did not want to watch Disney movies as a kid. I was like, let's put on The Land Before Time. I watched the Jurassic Park, Jurassic World franchise. Literally, minimum once a year, I have to binge watch all of them. And so I could see that. I saw how she made the dragons more like dinosaurs. She made them these wild creatures that couldn't be tamed. They're gonna be ruthless, they're gonna be vicious, they're going to protect their young. I saw that so much and I really did enjoy that element. But then we had the layer of like the gods and the different religions, and I saw such potential in those, but we didn't have enough pages, we didn't have enough time, we didn't dive deep enough into those parts. We spent too much time on a relationship that I personally wasn't invested in. I didn't believe, when like I feel like we could have gotten really cool, like we go get her revenge, but I never got to see why her revenge was necessary. We didn't even like hear about her time really in the place that she gets her revenge at. We see like 1 chapter on it. I feel like we really needed to take just more time to develop all of these things. We needed to develop her relationship with the religion she was born into, and then seeing this new religion as she goes into this new culture that doesn't just like worship the dragons, especially because I feel like that was like a big part of what they were doing and why they were doing it. I just think that there were so many cool tidbits of this that just weren't developed enough. I'm giving it 3 stars. I really liked the first half and I loved the world building. As I said, I'm complaining about it because I saw so much potential in it. I liked so much of it. I liked that it was a little more science-based, things like that. I just seriously think that the fault of this is that it's a series of interconnected standalones, and that I didn't know that going in. I thought it was a series, like a real series following these characters. I think it would have done so well as a real series. I am intrigued by the setup of the next one. It's an arranged marriage, which like top tier trope in my opinion, but I'm just like nervous, like will we ever dive deep enough into the things that I want, because in a series of interconnected standalones we have to get that relationship on paper too much. Like we don't have time to breathe in the smaller things, and I want that. I want it to feel so well developed that I could picture the entire world, and there was so much in this book. That's the thing, the world she created in this is so expansive. We just didn't learn enough. Like there was not enough detail given. It was just like a glossary almost, like here's this nation that has this and this and this, but like why do they have this? Why do they believe in this god and this nation believes in this god? Like there's so much more we could have developed in this story, I think, is my issue. I will try more from this author. I think I might try book 2. It just depends how I feel when it comes out and like the reviews it's getting. But yeah, I don't know, that's my thought. Now I have to decide what I'm gonna read next. I actually ended up reorganizing my shelf. Not this part, although the next Spotted by Thorns books come to me me sometime next week, I think. So this part will need to be reorganized then because I want them all here. I don't know what's gonna move. It's gonna be really tough. But like this side got a pretty good makeover. I mean, not this one, I guess, but like this shelf looks new. The shelf above it is now just like my Carissa Broadbent books, so Serpent. And then those also got new. All of the shelves back there you can't see. And you never probably knew what they looked like in the first place because they're not in a lot of my videos. But I'm excited. I like the changes I made quite a bit, and that always makes me happy. There's still more that I'd like to change, but I don't have enough shelf space. I need to move out so that I have more bookshelf because 3-ish, 3.5, 4, I guess, maybe, not enough. I have some of my parents' books hidden on here. Like this one right here, these two bottom shelves, those are my parents' books that I just hide. And then there's like 2 top shelves that are also my parents' books. Yeah, one day I'll have a beautiful library. It's gonna be white. This is just the color I was forced into because these were already here. Okay, what should I read next? I'm thinking maybe A Fate, Fortune, Fire. This is my book full books. Where's Mel? And I really need to read it. But Mel's reading it currently and she kind of told me to skip it. She said it's really mid. But I want to read new-ish releases that I was excited about to tell you guys if I liked them. But Penguin was nice enough to send me an arc of Dance of Lies. I think this is actually out now. What day was it out on? Yeah, June 10th. But I would still count this as like a new release that I'm excited about that I could read and let you guys know if you should buy it. And so I'm thinking about this one because I'm also very excited about this. And no one I know has read it. Like I don't know anything about this. It feels weird to have a candle like glowing behind me. So I think these are my 2 main options right now. I could also just go look at what I have on NetGalley because I do need to read some of those. My score is not getting good. Oh my god, I feel really weird in a tank top. I wear sweaters every day. We have 2 beautiful sweeping kitties. Look at her. Oh, you're so pretty. Look how pretty she is. And then we also have Theo. He's over here. Look at him. Oh. Oh. You're so cute. I did decide to start Dance of Lies last night. I just downloaded the Kindle sample and I read in bed. I've really been a reader in bed these days. My Kindle has been carrying me, but I will have to move to the physical book since I don't own an e-copy of this. Samples are incredible. If you didn't know, you can go onto like Amazon and just download the sample and like try a book. I do this a lot when I'm unsure if I'm going to like a book before I purchase an e-copy or a copy of it. This way I can just like test it out a little bit, especially if I don't have the e-copy available to me at all through like the library or something. I managed chapter 5, so I'm 50 pages in. I'm using my little Stingers bookmark from Readathon this year just because like look, I feel like it matches like the cover colors really well. This book definitely starts off dark. We are watching our character struggle. Like she is struggling in this. The author's note in this is really beautiful. Essentially the author wrote the story while she ended up bedridden from a bunch of the illnesses that she had been diagnosed with, and she used it as a way to escape from her reality. In turn, it ended up being a reflection in a lot of ways of her reality and a way to say that she's still strong and she can persevere and that we are not defined by our illnesses, by these things that try to keep us down, and that although the illnesses look a little different because this is a fantasy story, she would definitely took some inspiration from her own struggles. And in her own words, it ended up being a story that was a declaration that our limitations do not define our worth or limit our ability to live wonderfully romantic and impactful lives. I suspect many of you know pain on an intimate level. Well, I wish I could take that away. I hope I can at least make you feel seen and remind you of how valuable you are. Your pain, invisible or not, is never wasted. Your words matter, your story matters, and you are deserving of a main character slot. I think that this book is going to be very incredible for people who do suffer from a lot of chronic illness and chronic fatigue and things like that, because you are going to see yourself in a character. I always think representation does matter. I'm not sure already that this book is going to be for me. However, I think a book cannot be for me and be for so many other people. I'm still interested. I think the writing is beautiful. I really feel immersed in the writing style, but so far it's just felt a little repetitive to me and a little hard to read at times, which I think is very raw and real. and incredible to be written, but I definitely read for enjoyment. So we're gonna see. We're going to attempt it. We're following our main character, who was the crown's jewel. She was the dancer for the king. She was the one and only dancer. She essentially belonged to him. But when she is framed for a murder, even though he knows she's innocent, he ends up letting her take the fall and sentencing her to a life in prison. Within this prison, she is given no room to move, nothing, and so it's been 2 years and her muscles are gone. She has essentially had her body ruined by this imprisonment, and the king now needs her to be a spy for her because she was such an incredible dancer. She's the only one that would be able to do this, but she has to spend the next 3 months trying to be what she used to be with a body that is no longer what it was due to this imprisonment and what it has done to her body. We are really, really watching her struggle as she can't do the things she used to do, and it's heartbreaking for sure to read, especially for me because someone else put her in this situation. And I think the thing that's like really hard for me to read is that she still feels like she's in love with that person. I'm only 50 pages in, okay? Like, I wouldn't say anything I'm talking about is a spoiler, but it still feels like she's very much in love with the king even after he did these things to her. And that is truly, what's it called when you fall in love with your captor? Stockholm syndrome? That's what we're getting at here. And gaslighting and things like that. And like, I don't know if I can watch a relationship with the king. I feel kind of sick to my stomach anytime she is in love with him or like talks about him in a nicer light. I mean, she is struggling with it because she knows like what he's doing to her. But if this is a romance with the king, that'll be a hard no for me, I think. So I'm hoping it's not, because I'm pretty sure this is a romantasy. It does say a debut fantasy romance, so we will see. Literally, why are cats so rude? I decided to sit on the floor because Miley was laying right here the second I set my camera up. Gone. Yes, I have hangers. My couch is really dirty. Oops. You can see my little... This is dark too. I'm kind of dysfunctional right now. I'm out of focus. Focus on me. Focus on me. That's the Ariana Grande song, right? Okay, update. Where is my book? I just really hurt myself. I fell into the couch. I don't even know what's behind me at this point. This is not straight. I have a book update, A Dance of Lies. I got 100 pages in and I have decided to DNF it. This is hard because I think that there is a person out there that this book is made for that is going to connect so hard to this story and not be able to put it down. I am not that person, especially because I'm not someone who visualizes while I read. And I did talk about how the writing style is very beautiful. However, the more it went on, the more I found myself disconnecting from the story because it is so detail orientated. And as someone who doesn't visualize what I read at all in my brain, I didn't care that everything looked a certain way. I didn't need to know the shine of the floor polish gleaming in the sunlight looked like this. I didn't need to like have every person described as they walked in. I didn't need to look at the stone wall in every single room. Like, I think for some readers that'll make it so visually beautiful to read this book, but I'm not that reader. I have definitely DNF'd a lot of books before because of an overly descriptive writing style. It's something I personally don't vibe with. It's just like too much, and I found myself going pages and pages without any dialogue. And like, I'm not a dialogue only reader, like that's crazy, but I definitely like dialogue. I enjoy dialogue. I don't want a book to be fully dialogue. I've also complained about that before, but I want a decent balance of dialogue. I am someone who doesn't necessarily like to be in my character's head constantly. Like, obviously we're always in our head. I have talked about it a lot when it comes to fantasy books. I feel like romantasy books, I don't normally have this issue, but I prefer books with like lots of characters. I don't prefer books that are just like following our character on a journey and she doesn't really have like characters with her. Like, I definitely love the scenes with other people, and I found this just too much in her head. We're just with this character. We'll be in her room watching her stretch. The dance element of this, I personally couldn't see the dances. I think the overlay description in this book made it harder for me to see things because I'm like visualizing things in my head, but like obviously when you describe that he's walking into a castle, I know they're walking. And the way like they describe like the dance scenes, I was literally just picturing her just like dancing. because like I couldn't grasp what the movements were at all. I think that it is similar to fighting scenes, and I almost needed it to be simplified a little bit so that I knew she was doing like a pirouette right here, or she was sliding across the floor. I don't know, I just, the footwork necessarily didn't work for me. I can't speak on the representation. I don't have any of these chronic illnesses. I'm not someone who struggles with pain. Even like my monthly cycle is tolerable. But I was reading a decent amount of reviews that were talking about it, and I do agree with the fact that she can do anything. Her pain, her chronic illness is never ever a setback in her life. And I think that that's a representation that a lot of people could want, of just seeing them be able to achieve whatever. But I also think that there's a chronic illness representation that I would prefer. But again, I have no right to want this, but I think that from reviews, I'm seeing like a lot of people agree with me on this, that I think it would be more beneficial for me to see her struggle and still be okay. Like, I think that from a lot of people who have like chronic pain, there are some days you just can't get out of bed. No matter how much you say I want to get out of bed, you can't. I've seen my mother struggle with chronic migraines, and like there are some days where like she's suffering through the pain and she's doing whatever and she's gonna just go with it, but then there are some days where she can't get out of bed, she can't leave her room, she can't have a single thing of light, and nothing that she wills into that changes that. I think that would have been a very beautiful rep to see in my eyes, and seeing someone be badassing a main character who still has those days. And I just feel like this character didn't have those days. But I also understand the want for representation that is just, I can do whatever no matter what. I can see through this pain and I can just get up and dance. Like I get that want to. So I can't really speak on that representation, but I definitely think that it leans towards the second one, where she's going to achieve her dreams no matter what, which is also beautiful. I don't know if I'm making sense. I honestly, talking online is so hard. Like, if I'm being real here, I just try to speak from my heart and like speak how I see things and view things, but there is always a worry that I'm saying things wrong sometimes. But at the end of the day, like, I believe in who I am as a person and I believe my thoughts. I don't know if that makes sense. So I just speak my belief, I guess. And I think that this is a book written for someone out there. It's just not for me. So I will be DNFing this. I have no idea what I'm starting next. Probably won't read for a couple days because I am going up karaoke tonight with my sister and my cousin and some friends. And I'm probably going to get far too litty. This group of friends, they're drinkers and they go hard, and I haven't been a drinker in a while. I definitely do drink, but like, I'm not a partier. I don't really drink to get drunk. I drink because I like enjoy mixed drinks and stuff, and they are drink to get drunk people. I guess in Mexico I also got drunk a couple times, like pretty drunk, because it's the same style of friends that they're partiers. So I'm excited for karaoke though. I love karaoke. So I just heard my dryer go off, as I said, and that's my clothes for tonight. So I'm gonna get changed. I'm gonna head to my sister's house. We're gonna have some pho to get our stomachs full of broth to hydrate us, and carbs like noodle goodness to soak up that booze, and then we're gonna go sing our hearts out tonight. I have been hearing about the Red Lobster seafood boil all over my TikTok feed, so you better believe I got it. 2 types of butter here, roasted garlic and Old Bay butter. The biscuits. This looks delicious. Oh my god. And then we have my Whittle container of seafood. Very excited to dive into that. But first, let's tell you about the other thing I dived into, which is A Fate Forged in Fire. I don't actually remember what the last thing I told you was, if I said I was gonna pick up Arcana Academy or not. I ended up wanting an audiobook, and then this morning I just decided to pick up A Fate Forged in Fire because I do have the audiobook. Forgot that I had pre-ordered it. This is my book club book on Patreon with Mel, and people have not been like loving it. Everyone's been liking it. Everyone's been giving it like a 3.5, saying it was just okay. So I've been very hesitant to pick this one up, but I'm not gonna lie, the first 9 chapters I was vibing hard. I was really enjoying this. Very exciting to see a story with like typical tropes and stuff, but not make them surprise plot twists. Like, our main character in this is the long lost heir, but us as the readers, and she knows she's the long lost heir from the very start, and she's working to get her kingdom back. Really liked that. I liked that she was adopted, but she knew she was adopted. Like, those things that are typical, like, oh my god, she's gonna gonna find out and be like shocked when she finds out that she's the long lost heir and that her parents aren't her parents biologically. I like that we didn't have that, and I feel like the story could have been set up in a way that we had those things, and I'm really glad we didn't. I've made it to chapter 13, so I'm 130 pages in currently. The last 2 chapters I've been a little more mid about. I feel like a lot is happening. I feel like the pacing in this book is going too quickly. I think it's going to be too short. It's 380 something pages. Just from what I'm reading so far, like there's a lot going on. We're moving very quickly. We've changed settings. We're onto a 3rd setting, our 3rd place within 100 pages, and that's like too quick in my opinion, especially if you want us to care about characters and like things like that. I think the first like 60 pages being in her like hometown was fine, but then when we moved settings, that should have been a longer place there instead of just like, oh god, we need to go elsewhere. And it is very realistic to what they're doing, but I just think it didn't work for me in terms of storytelling. I am listening to the audiobook and I think that's working really well for me, so I would recommend it. It is a very heavy like Irish Celtic accent, so if that bothers you, that's only one thing to think about, but I think it's like adding almost to the atmosphere of this because I think that this has some inspiration from that. I like it. I'm intrigued to see the magic and all that. I want to eat my seafood boil. Next time I update you, I'll tell you the synopsis. The update you've all been waiting for, the seafood boil was mid. I don't recommend. I mean, it's Red Lobster, so like I kind of expected it, but I had to try it just in case because it is a new owner and I've been seeing good reviews about it. But personally, we go to a place called the Captain's Boil and I think it's a lot better. It was just like steamed and then I dipped it in butter. It wasn't really a boil in my opinion, which like maybe was because it was takeout. Maybe I'd have to try it there. Who knows? But I have made myself a limeade. Yum. And I've made it 50% I think into this. I'm just finishing 21. It's such an easy listen. I'll give this book that. Like I'm not mad listening to it. It's just like enjoyable to listen to. I was working on my genre blanket while I was listening and it was very enjoyable in my opinion. But I am going to switch over and I think because I have like 3 hours left of this, I'm going to play my Switch. I have not picked up my Switch in a long time because I've been so addicted to Phasmophobia, which is on my computer. But with this audiobook, I feel like it's perfect for a video game. I'm not sure what I'm gonna play though. I could play Dave the Diver. Maybe I'll open my Stardew Valley, like my farm. Or maybe I'll restart Fire Emblem 3 Houses. I don't know. I have choices. But for this, I'm liking it. I don't know. I think it has a lot of potential, but it's almost frustrating because things happen too quickly. I feel like the pacing is just so quick. We never really sit in our feelings anywhere in a situation for very long. We're always moving to the next scene very quickly, the next conflict very quickly, and we're not really given the time to really appreciate the moments or the characters or like the depth of the story. I think it feels very surface level just because of that, because we're moving so quickly that like I don't really get to sit in it, I don't know, and like dig deeper than the surface. I'm not mad at the romance, it's not really that existent, but like also am I supposed to praise this man for being the bare minimum man? Like he doesn't decide to sleep with her without consent. Am I supposed to be like, oh my god, incredible, amazing, I love you? Like what? That's the bare minimum. That is the bare minimum. Why am I supposed to praise you for this? I feel like I can see a world where this story would have been a new favorite of mine because I see so many cool elements, but then there's so many things that I'm just like, meh. I wish the dragons talked. There are dragons in this. Essentially, our main character is the rightful heir to this throne. The way their society and religion has always worked, that it's been a matriarchal society and that the firstborn female of every line becomes the ruler. However, we have some men who think they're better than that and they take over. In their bloodline, never have a female, they just have males, but in like a other bloodline still of the gods, we have our main character who is born and she is a female. And so rightfully, according to like their beliefs in the religion, she's the heir, but she has been kept secret until a point where she is ready to make her stand and claim for the throne because the king has died, and so as it moves over, they want to crown her as monarchy instead of one of the sons. And so she's going to sneak into the castle and bond to the king's dragon. I wish the dragons talked. That's what started this. I really do. I feel like we have a moment where she bonds to a dragon and I'm just like, I don't care about you. Like, I don't need my dragons to have talking conversations. I love the Aurelian Cycle by Rosaria Munda, and the dragons don't talk in that. They're more like horses in my opinion. But I think the dragons in that have purpose without their talking. And in this one, it doesn't feel like the dragons have purpose. They just feel like dragons. So in Fireborn, the dragons are like a societal standard. Like, they're like a trophy almost. Like, if you sit in a certain position in society, you have this dragon. And so it's very much a show of like who you are, and like it makes sense with the whole conversation of that story of like taking down the monarchy and like societal ideals and things like that, that the status, it's like a status symbol. So the dragons are a status symbol, and taking that status symbol down and giving it to like the poor and things like that. In this, it just feels like there's a dragon to be a dragon, and we bond to the dragon, and then we don't see the dragon for the rest of the book. So like, I don't know. I feel like I'm frustrated. I'm frustrated with these new releases for not being new favorites. That's for sure. I don't know. I got nothing else to say. Disappointment. Good morning. I have so much to update you on. Like, so much. I updated you yesterday, but things have happened. I was not expecting to finish this book in one day, but I did. It was just so easy to consume. The audiobook really was just such an easy story to listen to. I think part of that is that there's nothing super exciting or original in this book. I do appreciate the fact that it took some trends and like didn't make them plot twists, but also it's very much your typical romantasy, following the typical tropes and trends that we all know. And there were some of those plot twists still that were just like so easy to guess. Like, you knew what was about to happen, and I was just like kind of over it. This book was just unexciting to me. But if book 2 comes out and people love book 2, I think I'll pick it up. This, with the ending, I feel like the ending itself did intrigue me, and I liked enough elements of this. Like, I never hated it. I'm giving it a 3-star. I think it was enjoyable. It just was not something that's gonna stick out in my brain. But it kind of reminds me of Spark of the Everflame, which I hated book 1 of that. Like, okay, hate is a strong word. I gave it 3 stars, but for a while I contemplated a 2-star. But I went directly into book 2 after Spark of the Everflame because I saw glimpses of something I really liked in that story. And with the love book 2 got, I wanted to try book 2 while it was still like fresh in my brain. And like, I knew if I didn't read book 2 right away, I probably never would, because I would forget everything that existed in Spark of the Everflame, because it felt very unoriginal in a certain aspect to me, and I probably just would not have cared by the time I got to book 2. So like, I jumped right into book 2, and I ended up falling head over heels with that series, giving book 2 and 3 both 5 stars, thinking they're some of the best books I've read in the romantasy genre. So if this gets good reviews in book 2, I could be convinced to read book 2, because I do see something that I liked. I do think that although their romance happens far too fast, I do think that I could enjoy the plot line of their romance in book 2 if it's going to be what I think it is. I do think that there is a cool system in place here with the hierarchy and the religion. I think the religion itself is really cool. It's kind of giving the people in white in Wheel of Time more a part of the story in the first couple books. I think that storyline in Wheel of Time does come into further books, which I didn't make it past book 3, and I don't think I made it into season 3 of the TV show either, but it's giving that, and I liked that element of it quite a bit. So if that got developed more in book 2, I also would be really intrigued, because you do see parts of that in the story where like the queen is trying to save people, women in particular, from what her nation does to them as part of that religion, but yet she is a product of her birth and her upbringing, and she still believes in that religion. And I think that that's such an interesting conversation, because how do you believe in something which the main part of it is to shit on women, and you don't believe in that part? I think it's a very interesting discussion within this story that wasn't developed, but in book 2 it could be developed. I think this is a debut. I could be wrong, but I think it is. No, I don't think it is. I'm lying. I don't know. But either way, I think I could be talked into reading book 2 for sure. But I think I will unhaul this. I don't think I need to own this edition. I don't think it's anything special, and I don't see myself loving them enough to own them later on either. But maybe I should keep it until I decide on book 2, because what if I love book 2 and then I want it? This is decision paralysis as a reader. Like, do I get rid of this because it was a 3-star, but it has potential for me to like other things in the series, so do I keep it? I don't know. Maybe I'll hold on to it for a bit. That's probably the safer option, and I have room on my bookshelves currently. For whether this is worth your money, I would wait till book 2 comes out. I would wait to hear reviews on book 2 before I bought this personally. I also do think the audiobook is worth it compared to the physical if you like audiobooks. I feel like it was just a very easy listen fun, but it does have that pretty heavy accent if that bothers you. So maybe listen to a sample of the audio beforehand, but I personally would wait for reviews for book 2 before picking this up, which kind of sucks because that's a whole year from now. But I feel like if you read this now, you'll enjoy it currently. Like, you won't hate it. I think you'll give it 3 stars, but by the time book 2 comes out, you're gonna forget everything and probably not be interested in book 2. So I feel like I would wait personally, which is really depressing because that means all 3 books. I think this is the one I liked most because I DNF Dance of Lies, so I don't think that's necessarily worth it if you're like a reader like me and you like my taste in books. If you like opposite books than me, I would give that one a try. And then Realm of Thieves, I just didn't really like that much, but maybe if you like that author's writing more than I do, like if you've read books from her and given it 5 stars, I would get that one. But we are gonna do another book pick. I do have another one that I want to read. I have an arc of Arcana Academy. I think it's Arcana. I always say Arcana, but I think it's Arcana because it's arcane magic, right? Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. I shouldn't say that because now I'm gonna get like 40 comments correcting me when like the first one came in and that was all I needed. So maybe don't correct me if I'm wrong, or like scroll the comments first before you comment, because sometimes it's so frustrating when you get like a million comments on the same thing and you're like, I'm so sorry, but someone already told me this and I know, and I just can't take it back because the video is already up and I can't like replace it in the video. The ranting is happening. But I have been a yapper today. Whew. I do like a monthly yap content thing on my Patreon for the 2 top tiers, where like every month I just like sit and I talk to the camera and I just like talk about my life plans, my reading plans, my like content plans, and I just like yap. And this one was really long because I just kept yapping. I'm also talking really fast. What is wrong with me? Okay, let's talk about the book because I have started Arcana Academy. I'm 7% in. I think that's like 40-50 pages and I am loving this so far. This will be my 9th book from Elise Kova. I haven't loved them all. I loved the Air Awaken series and I loved the duet with the Vampire Lord, but the rest of them in the Married to Magic series that I read Elf King and the Fae Prince, I think, and I DNF'd both of those. I didn't like them. So not everything's been a win from her, but I feel like this is going to be a win. It's already giving me 5-star vibes. I don't know, Elise Kova just has like such a familiar writing style for me since I've read so many and I really eased into it really easily, and then it has a character who's very resilient, which I love, and I feel like in both of the other stories that I've loved from her, that's been something that the main character possesses that I can really like get behind and relate to. I think that the setup that's been done is really interesting. We have a really unique world. I have never seen anything like this magic system. The closest it comes to it is One Dark Window with like the tarot magic, but it's done in a completely different way in this one. Essentially, we're following our main character who is sentenced to death in a prison for inking tarot cards, because in this world it is illegal to ink a tarot card, which essentially means like make them. Like you take this ink and you make it and you put magic into it to then make this magical card that has powers. You're only allowed to ink tarot cards if you go to Arcana Academy and you graduate, and anyone else who doesn't go to Arcana Academy is illegally doing it, or they're sent to the mills because they have the power to do it and they don't want people to do it. And so our main character has been doing it illegally and she's found out and she's sentenced to jail, and that's where we start off with her in jail, and quickly we learn all of this. Like, I'm not far enough in to call this a spoiler. This is part of the setup. And the one prince comes who's also the headmaster of Arcana Academy and makes a deal with her. He needs her help. He needs her to help him find a long lost card. It is giving One Dark Window a little bit when I talk about it, but it's like, it feels very different to me. Very different. And in order for her to be able to do this, she needs to be legally inking these cards. So he gives her a position in Arcana Academy, like sneaks her in, and he also has to protect her. So he makes her his wife. So they're in like an arranged marriage thing right now, and that also like helps him get like a leash on her a little bit. He's being set up pretty well. He does feel like reluctant allies to lovers, like they have a little bit of enemy because she thinks he's done something, but you can tell that not everything is what we see. Like there's definitely more to him. There's more to the story than what she knows and what she's thinking. And I also just like really like her because she's not too dumb. I mean, she's dumb, but like all of her decisions do make sense. They're a little impulsive in my opinion. I think impulsive and dumb are different things. I don't think she's dumb. I think she's impulsive, and I can get behind an impulsive character because me too. I am impulsive. Also, there's a little test you can do for this book where like you take the test and it puts you into your house, which is fun. I love when authors do something like that. I just think it's like fun and extra engagement. We're doing Arcana Academy for our book club pick for Patreon, and we're all taking the test, and it's like fun for all of us to like screenshot and send what we got. I got House of Cups. Let me know what you got if you take the test. I'll leave it down below if I remember. Who knows? But But I will update you in a bit on this one when I get a little bit further in. I'm hoping to just like sit around and read today. That is my hope for the day. That's so refreshing. Oh my god. I've been obsessed with making like lemonades and stuff. I don't know, the first time I made it in a vlog was probably a month and a half to 2 months ago. Since then I've switched to limeades. I love lime more than lemon. And I was like, wait, why can't I do that with lemon? Also, it's hot today. You know it's hot when I am not in a sweater because I wear sweaters at all times in my basement. I have pants on though, and I'm like, I need to get these off of me. But anyways, I switched to limeades, and then I was like, wait, why am I not just making virgin mojitos? So this one, we have mint in our garden. Did you hear my cat? I don't know what she's doing back there. She's going crazy. This one has mint in it. It's essentially a virgin mojito, and it's so refreshing, especially because I'm sweating. I could chug that right now, that whole thing. Why is it so hot? I look like a mess. Literally, you can probably relate though when it's hot. Oh, it's hot. Okay, where's Kindle? I am a mess. I don't just look like one. I've been reading. I'm 30% into Arcana Academy. I saved the best for last. I did it for you so you could end this vlog on a win and you could spend your money on a new favorite book. I'm loving this. This is so good. I'm gonna take these off because I think that they're fucking with my eye focus because my camera's supposed to focus on my eyeball. Oh, I look more sweaty though. I didn't put mascara on today because it's so sweaty. My eyeballs look naked. I'm such a mess. Okay, the book. It's just so unique. It is hard not to compare to One Dark Window just because this is the only thing that I've read similar. They're both tarot-based magic systems, and I think it's really fascinating to see all of the things that aligned in these books because there is such a rich background to tarot and all of that, and to see the things that they have in common, the similarities they took from their inspiration is really cool to see. There's also some major differences. These books are nothing alike. They're just like the only tarot magic systems I know. I would love to read more about this. I recently got my first deck of tarot cards for Tarot Readathon actually, and I was like, I don't know if I'm someone who will get super invested into tarot, but the more I read, the more intrigued I am by it and like want to learn more things. Also, not that this has anything to do with it, but when we play Phasmophobia, I love using the tarot cards in that. I just think it's fun. But of course, that's a cursed object in Phasmophobia since we're ghost hunters and it makes the ghost hunt and do things. But I love using them. So maybe this is a sign that tarot is really in my blood and I need to get more into it and I need to research it and I need to learn it. Maybe. But anyways, I just think this magic system is so unique and intricate. So much time was spent in not only knowing what tarot is and like knowing all the ins and outs of tarot, but also creating this like vast world that is connected to its magic system. Arcana Academy feels like the next big thing. I think the school setting is really well done. It feels like I am with my character. It feels like I'm experiencing something new with her and I'm learning about the world around me. But also she's not 100% clueless and she has given us information that not everyone knows also, and that she has had a whole backstory. I think it feels just like very well written in terms of our main character. It feels like a good balance between having someone really well written and really well developed and then having someone that you can kind of self-insert yourself into a little bit and experience the world with. And I mean, reluctant allies to lovers is always one of my favorite tropes. An arranged marriage just goes so hard. The term my wife or my bride just seems to work for me, which is funny because I'm kind of anti-marriage in real life. Even though I was a wedding photographer for myself, I don't want to get married and I don't necessarily like terms of endearment like that, but the way it's done in like this like possessive, that's my bride, it works for me fictionally. I don't know, honestly, I'm comparing this to House of Bane and Blood a lot in my head. There's just something about it that gives me those same feelings. I think it's the relationship between the characters and that arranged marriage and how I think that they are going to reveal truths and secrets about each other and really hold each other accountable but love each other, and it's going to be them against the world eventually. I think that that's the vibe I get, and that's the vibe I got in House of Bane and Blood. I'm obsessed with this. I have been rambling. I don't even know what I've been saying at this point. The heat wave is getting to me. I'm Delulu, but I'm Delulu feel for this book. You can truly tell it's hot because I'm not in a sweater again. But I feel like the heat wave isn't possessing me yet. It will probably possess me later on and I'm going to get Delulu again. But currently I feel like I can actually talk through my thoughts on this book a little bit more. I can make a little more sense. I have to be honest, I've made it to 55-ish percent, 60% into the book. I'm not sold on the romance. I'm not unsold by it. Like, I'm not hating it. I enjoy their moments together, but I'm not like kicking my feet over it. I'm not really shipping them. It really just feels like allies at this point that are forced together. I don't really see like a lot of chemistry. It feels a little forced in my opinion, and I'm hoping that the more character moments we get, the more I won't feel that way. I think at this point, I'm really seeing the setup of the fantasy story. I feel like the character relationships have taken a back seat, and I think to make this a 5-star read for me, I need those to shine a little bit more. I'm currently sitting around a 4-star. However, I did read a couple reviews that said the middle lulled for them, and that's how I'm feeling right now. From like 40 to 60, I've been feeling the lull, and I just wanted more. I think it's a little repetitive in its nature at this point. Like, it's not moving forward almost fast enough, or I'm not getting the moments I want. It's been very repetitive in like her wanting like 3 things, or like repeating these 3 things to herself. Oh, she can't trust him because of blank, blank, and blank. She can't trust these people because of blank, blank, and blank. And I almost need more breakthrough moments. We did just get one pretty big one with the prince, and I really enjoyed that. But I feel like from 40 to 60%, those are the parts of the story where we're really supposed to be diving into the character moments, the character interactions. We're really supposed to be turning what we know in society and of the world kind of on its axis. Like, we're supposed to look at something with a new view or dig deeper into the views we already have. And I feel like the story isn't necessarily doing that in this section of the book. I'm still so hopeful for the rest of the book because I do think the plot that's being set up is very engaging and very unique and interesting. I love the concept of the arcanists having to owe themselves to the crown and what that means, and like the discussion we're getting from that concept, and like the freedom that they are fighting for, I think is very relatable in today's society. Like, essentially it's a selected group of people that are forced to work and do whatever, or they are sentenced to death, essentially sentenced to the worst life you could ever have. So they have chains around them, and there's nothing they can do about that. Even though they have power, their power has been pushed down so much that they don't see the power that they actually wield in society almost. Very interesting to me, and I want to dive more into that. I also want to know more about the bad characters. I want to know more about the good characters. I really am missing more character moments. I think found family in this would be really good. I feel like we've met a lot of characters, but no one has really like stuck out to me as like a favorite or like someone that our character can go to and really talk to. There's one character that I think has the chance to be that, but because of circumstances isn't that, and it's not necessarily working for me. I really need my stories to have found family and character, not even found family. I just need it to have multiple characters or like friendships of some sort. I don't really like an isolated character, and that's what she is because she's not noble enough for the nobles. She's not common born enough for the commons because she has like a noble title that she just got, even though she was born common born. Because she has this noble title that she got a week ago, they see her as a noble, but of course the nobles do not see her as a noble because she wasn't raised as one of them. It is a very interesting setup. Like, I really do like the setup of the story. I really do like the writing. It does remind me a lot of Air Awakens in its like writing choice. It feels a little bit more mature in my opinion. It is adult to the YA story that is Air Awakens. So overall, I'm having a great time. Sometimes I feel like when I give criticism to a book, people automatically think I didn't like it, and I think that books I love can still have critical thoughts on them. I can still criticize them, and I'm currently really enjoying this. But my whole vibe of this is to give you my unfiltered thoughts on books and stories, and that's what I'm doing here. Like, I am noticing these issues. I still love and vibe so hard with this story, and I could see myself giving it 5 stars if the next 40% just like blows me away the way the first 30% did. But those are my thoughts currently. God, it's hot up here. I should go back to my basement. 5 stars. Was this book perfect? No. Did I thoroughly enjoy it? Yes. Did the ending blow me away? Yes. I'm not surprised because when I read Air Awakens, I binged the entire series because the endings were just like, I need to know what happens next, and I feel like this book did the exact same thing. I'm kind of salty I don't have access to book 2 that isn't even out yet, because book 1 technically isn't even out yet at the time of me reading this. I just had an arc, and thank you to LibreFM for putting it on beyond their ALCs this month. There were times where I did think about a 4-star. I think the romance and the side characters are a little forgettable in book 1. I think that there is a reader out there that will be obsessed with the romance. I think he's a little too soft for me almost. I think he's meant to be this like dark, brooding void prince and like very scary, but I feel like I didn't get to see him be scary. I'll say it time and time again, I'm someone who needs things to be done on paper. We are told that he is scary because of this like past thing, but we obviously know there's more than meets the eye with that past thing. And I'm just someone who thinks actions speak louder than words, and all of his actions never made me believe that he's this big scary guy, which like obviously is part of the point because you want us, the readers, to root for him and her, and like who wants to root for the bad guy? But I think you can make him big and scary and ruthless and like touch her and die vibes, which is like what they were trying to do, but still give me the soft moments for her. But I feel like overall he just felt very, very soft. I needed more action from him and less words. I feel like there was a lot of words coming from him that were meant to make him sound scary. But I do see a world where like I could really like this romance moving forward, especially now that we've done some of the groundwork for it. And there is a friendship that I'm very excited to explore in book 2. There's actually 2 relationships in book 2 that I am very, very excited to explore outside of like the couple relationship. One of them I feel like we just dappled on at the end of this one, and I saw my radar was going off being like, this could be a friendship that I love forever if it gets the time and commitment to that friendship in book 2, because just like the mere glimpse of it in book 1 felt incredible. And then there's one coming into book 2 that I just like know I will love just based on past experiences. I also would love to see more from the bad guys and stuff. I feel like I really want the relationships to get a turn in book 2, but the thing that carried me through this, the thing that's giving me 5 stars, is the world and the plot. Like, I am so invested into this storyline. I feel like that took a center stage for me because every time we were with the romance, and maybe this is why I didn't love it as much, because like every time we were with them, I was like, wait, but let's get back to the school setting. Let's get back to learning about magic. Let's get back to inking the tarot cards and learning the different powers of the tarot cards. Let's get back to learning how this world exists and what the end goal is and how that's going to change everything. And like, let's just get back to like the expansiveness of all of these courts that you've created. Who belongs to who? What's going on? All of the divides and the factions and all of that. I felt like I wanted to know every little detail about this world because it felt so well fleshed out in my brain. It felt so well thought out and detailed. And I still feel like we've only scratched the surface of it. I just know so much time was spent to build this up. It really felt so incredible to me. It felt familiar but so unique also. And the plot was very engaging. There's like the school setting, so you're learning about the magic and all that, but there's also a heist going on, and that kept me intrigued also as like we were trying to make sure our plans were always going to be moving forward to get us to the point at the end of the book where the heist was going to happen, and like each plot point had to be hit at a certain time. We had to do this here and this here and this here, so everything like works out in the end, and then like everything thrown at them during those things that made them have to like twist and turn, and like I don't know, I just felt like it was very engaging to read. There is a middle slump, I'll give the middle that, but like the beginning and the end and like the trials at the end were fun. I wanted them to be longer, but like I don't know, I could have read another 500 pages of this so easily because I just was so in it. Like I just felt so immersed. I truly can see this world. I truly can see it almost exist in our world. Like it's kind of crazy to think about. Like it felt so real to me. I think that this is going to be the next big thing. I think people are going to freak out about this. Like please pre-order this. It's worth it. It's worth your money. I'm so happy we ended this vlog on it because we got a win, and like it truly was a win. The more I talk about the book, the more I like it too. Like its small flaws were truly small. Like they were just me nitpicking almost. It was me like wanting more from them. Not that they were done badly, but that I wanted more because I think the rest of it, the things I loved, were so well done that I'm like, please give me more of this too. I don't know. I'm ranting. I'm really, really happy that I read this. I'm really, really happy that I have a special edition coming of it. 5 stars. Read it. And tell me what your favorite tarot card is. I don't think we got to see enough of them, but I feel like the death card was so cool. I really liked the death card. I also liked that the magic had a lot of stakes to it. I thought that was really interesting, and like how it was created. Like I could dive into the magic system itself for an hour and just talk about it. Like I almost wish that I had a book club live show about this so I could just discuss every little thing. The thing is it's July now, and so I'm participating in Tarot Readathon, like I said at the beginning. So I did pull 4 cards because I'm vlogging this, and then my next vlog is supposed to be like Sims controls my reading, and then I'm doing my Tarot Readathon vlog, but I still want to submit my books. So I pulled 4 cards, and then these are what I got. I got the 3 of Swords, the Chariot. The Chariot card was really cool in this book too. The Emperor, which I don't remember if we saw, and the 10 of Pentacles. For this book, for Tarot Readathon, I think I'm going to use the 10 of Pentacles because this is to read a book where like family and legacy matters, and in Arcana Academy your name really does matter and who you are, and like noble houses and family of that term matters, but also there is a plot line with her sister and almost like a murder mystery-ish. Not really. Don't let that scare you away because it's like not really, but like her sister has gone missing and she's trying to figure out what happened to her sister, and so I feel like that's a big plot line. So I think the 10 of Pentacles is a perfect card for this. I also need just like research. I kind of want to do like a spread. Maybe in Tarot Readathon vlog I'll do like my own reading because I think that'd be interesting, because Arcana Academy really had me really wanting to dive into tarot. So like perfect timing between this book and Tarot Readathon. I should end this vlog now, shouldn't I? So in the end of the day, 3 could be worth it depending on the reader you are, but Arcana Academy is worth it for anyone. Like pick that book up, please. I'll see you in my next vlog, and I'll leave a couple vlogs on the screen for you to check out in case you want to keep watching and hanging out with me. I'll also leave the Tarot Readathon announcement on the screen so that you can come join Team Swords with me. And if you made it all the way to the end of this video and you'd like to leave me an emoji to say you were here, leave me, I think there's a clover emoji, like a 4-leaf clover for luck, and when you read Arcana Academy, you'll understand. And have yourselves an absolutely remarkable day.